Hi, I'm Ted Clay, business journalist for SBC News, and today I've been joined by Charles Lee, who is the CEO of Kwiff. Charles, how are you doing today? How are you getting on?
I'm good, thanks, Ted. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well as well, thank you. Obviously, you were speaking at Betting on Sports Europe a couple of weeks ago, and I can remember in your panel, it was one of the main topics of discussion was about industry game changers and innovation and that sort of thing. As an industry, sports betting is continually evolving. In your opinion, what verticals are going to prove the key to success for operators, both in 2022 and beyond?
I think if we look at sports betting specifically, giving a rounded experience is key. And for us, that kind of starts with personalisation. So as a B2C operator, there's more and more content out there for us to deliver to customers, whether we're providing it within the product or we're taking it from elsewhere and then feeding it to the customer. So the customer's not always going to want all of that content though. So what we need to be able to do is look at the data that the customer is providing us from their betting patterns and feed them the relevant content that we know is going to engage them, which is going to lead to sort of bet stimulation and increase the loyalty of the customer and give them the relevant information. So I think an operator that can or multiple operators that can do that will really have a bit of success towards the end of this year and next year and beyond, really. And I don't just see that just in the sportsbook as well. I think personalisation going through all verticals is important. So we've built a PAM, sportsbook, casino, bonus engine, and all of those need to work seamlessly together. So again, if you've got a full solution, you can give the player seamless sort of cross-sell experience between all of those different verticals, rather than having those verticals working individually. Customers are pretty savvy. They'll understand if that's not a seamless experience for themselves, and there's sort of friction within their respective journeys on all of the different products. So I think someone who can deliver that, make it feel pretty easy and easy for the customer overall.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it's a really interesting perspective. Very accurate as well. I agree with you 100% on that, especially in now how multi-dynamic the modern industry is and how digitized it is. Obviously, there's been a lot of developments going on in the US lately. It's catching a lot of attention. For you personally at Kwiff, how do you decide when it's the right time to enter the US? Has there been any one key factor that has made you think, we need to do this in 2022?
Not currently. We're sort of biding our time, looking at the market. I think when the opportunity is right and it presents itself, we'll know. We've held back a little bit, as I say. I think we've got the tech built that will handle a multi-jurisdictional territory like the US, but the current climate's not right for us at the moment. The cost of entry is a prohibitive factor. And I think also the marketing spend of other operators in the territory is a bit restrictive as well. Now I see that calming down significantly, certainly this year and into next year. And so 2023, I think, is going to be a really interesting year. We see operators in the territory talking about profitability more than ever, and they're going to have to pivot a lot to go towards that. For us, I think there's different territories where we can gain an advantage and see gains. So we have a couple of licenses in Africa that we're very, very bullish about and keen that our product can work really well there. And we're starting to launch those over the last couple of months. And also in LATAM, I think there's a good opportunity there as well for the business. I think worldwide we've seen businesses slow a lot recently, and you can see that in the share price. But when the time's right, I think the US presents itself as an enormous opportunity, and I'm sure those share prices will bounce back, and prove the strong businesses will prove resilient at the end of the day. But they also need to make sure that they can control all of the elements of their product, and the tech stack is vital to that. And if they're not owning their own tech stack, then being on a really strong third-party provider is going to be important as well.
Yeah, as you were saying, the US is still establishing itself as a market, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of profitability there. You also just mentioned your tech stack. So how will you ensure that Kwiff develops the best in-class proprietary technology when you do decide to enter the US market?
Yeah, it's an important point. And what we've observed is industry trends that have seen gaming products become more and more complex and has features just stacked on top of one another. So our mantra is always to ensure that complexity isn't passed on to the customer. They can continue to enjoy a very broad product offering without getting overwhelmed with a confusing or bloated user experience. When we look at the different propositions in the market, we can see that, and our research shows us, that we've got a unique proposition there. We can take on any jurisdiction, any guidance or restrictions within each jurisdiction, and the user won't really experience anything different apart from those restrictions, right? So vitally important for the UX and the UI of the product. We can employ servers within different territories, be it physical servers or use the cloud. We have the flexibility to do either. And we're continually pushing ourselves as a technology outfit to challenge the normal and explore different emerging technologies and methodologies and pushing the boundaries, being on the edge of the technology development. Now, we've been working on our tech stack for over 6 years now to get to where we are today, and we've started seeing the fruits of our labor. No expense has been spared on building of the platform, from best-in-class developers all the way through to native technologies that they develop in. So we're pretty confident that when the time's right, our technology will stand the test of the US and also other markets. Actually, I don't think the US is the most complex market that we could be in. So there are other markets that offer more challenges, I think, than the US.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've noticed over the past year or two is that I do think there's a lot of companies are focusing quite heavily on the US and ignoring some opportunities elsewhere. So obviously you've just talked about how much preparation and effort you've been putting into ensuring you've got a strong tech stack. Building on that, what can we expect from Kwiff in the coming months? Are there any other markets that are high on your agenda, as you've just touched on?
Yeah, it's certainly something we've been sort of looking at, anticipating, and picking up licenses where it's appropriate to do so. I think that's important. So we have a balance of sort of soon to be regulated and regulated markets. A big priority on our roadmap is always to put the customer first. So our customers in the UK, where we have brand recognition and I've spent a lot of money on marketing as well, have been used to a unique betting experience that our product delivers. So looking towards the sort of next 6 months, we'll be taking that experience to our international customers in different territories. And more of them, really. We're opening them up relatively regularly. So in the current months, we're working towards improving that user experience, personalizing it region by region as well. That never ends. It's not just languages or prioritizing different sports above others, depending on where you are. It's the full offering that needs to be personalized. And the amount of data we can pull from our platform is incredible. So we haven't even touched the surface of what we can do there. But we want to offer them a personalized and unique sports and gaming experience, but also within a safe and secure environment. They're transacting with us. It needs to be that their money is safe with us, and we have a reliable platform to do that. We have a number of new releases coming up on our roadmap, which are unique, building entertainment throughout the product, and we already have the foundations of that and gamification that already run through our sportsbook and casino. So entertainment's kind of a key factor that Kwiff's always been built around, and we want to continue that. It's a fun product to play with for the user, and that's the way it should be going forward. With us, like, no two user experiences are the same, and we want to continue to surprise and delight our customers worldwide as well as in the UK.
Okay, that's great to hear. Clearly a lot of exciting things to look out for then over the coming year. Charles, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us today.
Not at all. Thanks very much, Ted.
Thank you.